Welcome to Car Sales Talk 101, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is. Here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Car Sales Talk 101. I'm Terry Cameron. Thanks for hanging out with me again this week. Episode number 154 is in the books. Wow. When I first started this podcast, I really thought I was going to get up to about 25, maybe 30 episodes because really, what can you really talk about in the car business? There can't be that much to talk about. But thanks to listeners like you, I've got plenty of ideas. And speaking of that, with this busy holiday season, we've been really busy at the dealership also. Brand new grandbaby. I've been swamped, and I promise I've got lots of emails and messages from different listeners, and I promise I will get back to you, every single one of them. Now this week, I want to talk about resetting the customer's clock. Now, I don't know what type of dealership you work at, but most new car dealerships send surveys out to customers, and they tell us what they like and what they don't like. And one of the things that always seems to come back as the thing that they really do not like dealing with, other than that fast-talking salesperson, is the back and forth, the time it takes to buy a car. I mean, it's not uncommon for a customer to come in and spend 3, 4, 5. Heck, I've been at dealerships where they were in there for 7 or 8 hours before they got a chance to leave. So, myself, if that were me, it would never happen. I'll pick my car out, give you all the information you need, and then when it's ready for me to come in, walk in the door, go in and sign, that's when I'll do it. Just have it ready for me. And I've done that before. So I want to talk about that with customers now because it's a frustrating thing. They do not like spending their entire day or their one day off a week messing around at a car dealership. So we got to make it as pleasurable and easy for them as possible. So we got to reset the clock. Let's think about this. What's the very first thing? When is that very first incident of them sitting around waiting for something to happen? Now, it doesn't start up front. Hopefully, you're out there greeting them right away with a proper greeting and a big grin on your face, knowing your product and following the process. So it's not the beginning of the process where they're waiting. Or we could just back up a little bit. Did the process start on the internet? I mean, how long does it take for you to get back to the customer that sent in an internet lead? It's usually the person that gets back the quickest with the information that the customer asked for, not beating around the bush. They're the ones that normally get the business. So that's probably the first time where customers have to wait, when we don't get back with them as quickly as we should. But let's fast forward to when they are on the lot. Remember, they've already did all their research. They know what they want. They may not tell you that, but they've spent hours researching the dealership, their trade value, and the car that they want to buy. So they may know a little bit more about the process and what they're doing than you think. So I'm going to guess that the first time that the customer really has to wait is when you cannot find the car they're looking for. Shame on you if that happens. And it happens at my dealership all the time. I have salespeople come to the sales desk and they're asking, hey, do you know where this car is at? Do you know if it's at our other lot or if it's here? Well, that's not the manager's job to know that. That's the salesperson's job to know that. Every single day you ought to walk the lot first thing in the morning. And if you have more than one location that you sell from, you need to know what is at every single location. Think about that. Customer comes in, wants to buy something that you're selling, and you don't know where it's at. They have to sit around and wait for you to figure it out. And if it's at another location, if you don't take them with you, they're going to sit around and wait for you to go get that vehicle and bring it back. Not a good way to start. Wouldn't you agree? After that, I think the next time that they have to wait is when they're waiting to get their car appraised. If they have a trade-in, salesperson comes up after the demo, comes up, gives the key to the used car manager or new car manager, whoever's going to go out there and look at their trade. And if that manager doesn't get up and go out there right away, remember, they're watching you. They're just sitting there waiting and looking at their watch. So we got to get that done right away. Let me give you a tip here. If you want to get their car appraised right away, why not introduce the customer to your manager right up front. When the manager can say, hey, do you have anything you might be trading in or replacing? I can take a look at that while you're out there making your selection and test driving the car. And then the manager's really not rushed. And by the time you get done making the selection, doing your presentation and your demonstration ride, when you come back, the appraisal's already done. And the customer knows that. So we can eliminate that if we introduce the manager right up front and get that appraisal done right away. Now let's talk about probably the worst, the biggest wait time in the dealership. Yes, you're right. Getting into the finance office, back to the box, back to the business manager, whatever you want to call it. That wait to get into finance can be excruciating. And I've seen people wait hours to get in to see the finance manager. And most of the time, it's not the finance manager's fault. They're doing their job back there. They're back there securing your deals and selling the products. So the way we do this, and I want you to pay attention because this is key, and you're going to have to take some of the blame on it yourself, is you got to get all the paperwork done right up front correct. Get all the information put into that deal jacket that you need to have and that finance manager needs to be able to put that deal together quick and get your customers back there. I hate when I hear one of my finance managers page that they need the miles on the trade-in. They need the color of the trade-in. Or what are the miles on the vehicle they're buying? Can we verify the VIN number, please? You know, that stuff should be done way before the deal actually makes it into finance. Okay, let's say that you did that. You got all that information in there, and now they're waiting because they're backed up. We've got 2 finance managers, and we're stacked 3 deep with each one of them. Don't tell the customer over and over again that, hey, it's just going to be a few more minutes and it'll be with you. You're next in line, so just hang tight. Because those few minutes may turn into half an hour or an hour, and they're not liking that. So let's just go ahead and let them know right up front, hey, this may take a little while. We're really busy, as you can see. We have 2 finance managers doing the very best that they can, and I promise you, when you get back there, they're going to be just as thorough with you. So it's going to take just a little while. Can I get you something hot or cold to drink? Let them know that. And now, most importantly, what are you doing during this time? Time and time again, I see customers waiting to get into finance, sitting at a desk or in the waiting area, and their salesperson nowhere to be seen. I know you run out of things to talk about, and it gets a little awkward when you're sitting there with them for an hour, hour and a half. So let's do some of the work that we do after they come out of finance and do it right now. Let's go over the car. Let's do the delivery. Let's go over everything that we couldn't do during the presentation. Let's introduce them to the service department. Let's show them all the features on the car. What I hear the other day, well, I can't because their car's in make ready, getting cleaned up. Well, then find one that's like it and use that one to teach them how to pair their phone, how to use the navigation and all that high-tech stuff that comes with cars nowadays. In most cases, if you're a new car dealership and you have a big enough showroom, you might even have a like model on the showroom that you can show them. Do all this stuff up front. Keep them busy. And then when it's time for them to get into finance, stop what you're doing. Remember where you're at. Get them back there with the finance manager. When they're done, if you haven't already completed everything, then finish it then. You might only have to spend another 5, 10, 15 minutes with them after finance. You can ask them if they have any other questions. If you do all this stuff and you let them know right up front, it's going to take a little bit of time. Let's go ahead and go over all the features and do the delivery and of the car before you go in there so that when you're done, you can get out of here right away. Don't you think they would appreciate that more than anything? Wouldn't you appreciate it? Instead of sitting there for 45 minutes to an hour waiting and waiting and waiting with no sign of the process moving forward at all. So I want you to think about this. This is what the customer dislikes the most about buying cars, is that wait. And if you can eliminate that, you got a much better chance of them giving you a good survey, a perfect survey, referring customers to you, and coming back to buy another car. We need that experience to be great. We don't want to just satisfy them. Like Warren Buffett said, you need to excite your customers. They have got to be well above the satisfied level because they expect to be satisfied everywhere they go. But you've got to make it special. And resetting their clock by having them go over the car, go over the books, go over the maintenance, introducing them to service, that's going to help you tons. So think about this, your very next customer, what you're going to do. It's really not that hard, and it's going to make all the difference in the world. Okay, guys, remember, the sky's the limit, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please rate it and write a review on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate your valuable feedback. You can email Terry at 10minutesalestalk@hot.rr.com. And don't forget to share the show with a friend.